I'm back. Hello, everyone. This is Manfred Crane here. Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. It's been a while. The YouTube channel has been a little dormant, so to say. It's only because, and if I can go back to the original episode 2, my apologies to anyone out there who thinks that Manfred Crane is just some Jesus-loving nut, or, this is some kind of platform for evangelicals or anything of the sort. It's not true. It's mainly just because that was recorded during the holidays in anticipation of the new Exodus movie, and all I can say is the theme and the ramblings that might have come from it are the consequences of decades of Catholic upbringing, schooling, and combined with just a wee bit of cannabis consumption. Now, shout outs to Lee Maples. Lee Maples, God bless you out there, and keep safe. Thanks for the support and all the dozens out there. Dozens and dozens who tuned in and listened. Today, it's kind of more of an Easter special. Once again, like I said, the tone here is not to preach Christ or Christianity or anything religion. It's just to be perfectly honest. This is the only damn time I have downtime to screw around on YouTube for a couple of hours and load something is during the holidays when, we can all duck out and escape our priorities and responsibilities. And it's celebrated, really, if not frowned upon. So got a little of the golf going here. Texas, your boy Spieth out there is looking good in the Masters. Good to see Tiger back out there. All the people out there that are hating against Tiger Woods and think that he's washed up, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's plain and simple. It's the guy's gonna have longevity for years and years, and either way, he's still freaking cool. I mean, they said that he made $35 million last year, or some ridiculous number coming through on endorsements. So, I mean, say what you will. He's living a good life. Plus, he looks better than any other schmucks out there dressed in, their little outfits. Tiger pulls it off. He looks good. I don't care what anybody says. The guy's sharp. And he's a family man, and he seems like he'd be a pretty cool guy, who are you rooting for? So, the golf is looking pretty good. It's good to see spring is back. Phil with a little shot here. Get it out. Phil Mickelson was born in a sand trap, ladies and gentlemen. The guy, if anyone hasn't seen it, YouTube the video where he hits a shot over the back of his head. He hits it in the opposite direction of the pin, loops it over his head, and lands it almost a couple of feet from the pin. Absolutely incredible. Phil Mickelson, the sand monster, the sand king. He loves the sand. And also anything with the audio on the second episode seemed that it was pretty low, this is really, I'm climbing the learning curve here as I sit and record this right now off of, a MacBook. And I think there might be some kind of an echo or what, if this audio is even, I don't even know if this audio is good or bad or what have you. I can only hear the voices in my own head. Drinking some water there. Can't let that sand trap in my mouth take over. So without further ado, as the first episode always entailed and promised, a little history for the day. It is Easter for the Orthodox Christians out there. So, as always, Manfred Crane welcomes all those who are humans and believe in anything that you want. Sounds good to me. Let's go into the 7th century here, a little early 6th. Today's feature is Edwin of Northumbria. It seems that he was a king. Got a nice little picture in a stained glass window over here in Yorkshire. One of the Ethelred, blah, blah, blah. He fell at the Battle of Hatfield Chase that took place in 633. little Mercia versus Daria and Bernicia. Basically, a bunch of smelly guys running around with swords. Watch Vikings and you'll know all about it. The problem is that Vikings needs to have more armor. Okay, I'll say it here and I will say it again. I like the show. I like what they do, but can we get a little Sutton Ho? Okay, a little Viking goggles on the helmet. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, that motherfucker, that guy, he needs to be in the show. Okay, swinging his double-sided axe. I mean, they do a good job with the brother. The brother's pretty good, but just one episode with the goggles. And what is it about the English forces? I don't know if it's Wessex or what have you. They're wearing like conquistador helmets. What is up with that? Somebody inform me. Somebody let Manfred Crane over here know what is the scoop. Is that accurate? Did they just run out of props in the costume set? They said, screw it, no one gives a shit, let's just roll it, or what happened? But it seems to me that people in the early Dark Ages, they're running around, the cavalry guys who are fighting the Vikings. Check it out next time you see it, and then take a look at some kind of like conquistador movie, and it's totally the Road to El Dorado, conquistador helmet on a guy in the 6th century running around in England. So, let's see here. Battle of Hatfield Chase, blah, blah, blah. Let's get out of this portal. Let's hop back into another feature of the day, which is going to take us, to the American Revolutionary War. Let's see here. And the Battle of Saintes, or Battile delle Dominique, Battle of Dominica, was an important naval battle that took place over 4 days on the 9th of April, 1782, during the American War of Independence. Now, it's the Revolutionary War, okay? We won. We call it what we want. And was a victory. Let's see. They get to name it. It was a victory of the British fleet under Admiral Sir George Rodney over the French fleet of the Comte de Grasse. Perhaps, kind of like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Perhaps a little connection there, forcing the French and the Spanish to abandon a planned invasion of Jamaica. Wow, interesting. So they were going to go and take over here. See, now going back to the shows, if you want to check out something, that Turn ain't too bad. Ain't too bad at all. It's one of those new AMC shows. Check it out. If you haven't, forget what I'm saying here and YouTube up a clip, because it's pretty legitimate. And you don't even need to YouTube. You can just go to Netflix. Netflix continues to ruin people's lives by releasing just season upon season in full, what basically come to 6-hour movies, little mini movie, giant epic movies that you just get sucked into. And so that was what happened to me, and with a little show called Turn. And if anyone doesn't know about the Revolutionary War, or it's coming down to, you got a quiz in World History 101 about the Revolution, check out Turn on AMC. So this battle looks like it took over in 1782. Wow. So think of it that way. The French were trying, so all the while the Brits are trying to take over America. And the French, as we all know, Ben Franklin's over there whispering in the king's ear, saying, come on over, let's get a little help. And the French say, screw it, why not? It's the classic, when my enemy is turned around fighting you, of course I'm going to shank him right in the back. But the Royal Navy strikes again. Tough to beat him. Admiral Sir George Rodney beats up the French and prevents them from invading Jamaica. So let us get back here, though. Let's get back to where were we? We were back in the Dark Ages. Weren't we somewhere? All right. So let's go to this guy. Let's see here. Paulinus of York. He died the 10th of October, sadly, in 644. Was a Roman missionary and the first bishop of York. a member of the Gregorian mission sent in 601 by Pope Gregory to Christianize the Anglo-Saxons from their native, blasphemous Anglo-Saxon pagan ways. Now, good old Paulinus, he arrives in England. I was on the island of England long before Ethelred and, Ragnar's buddy, and long before Ragnar. Paulinus arrived in England about 604 with a missionary group, and then heads up to Kent. So he's hanging out, and his buddies are, James the Deacon and, Hilda of Whitby and Ethelberg of Kent and, Ethelbald of Kent and, the whole group. And eventually he becomes the Bishop of Rochester. So he's prancing around as the Bishop of Rochester, and he eventually, early work, Kingdom of Kent, he's hanging out with the Archbishop of Canterbury, and he's parading around through all the different kingdoms, Lindsey, Mercia, Wessex, Sussex, Kent, East Anglia, Essex. And, England is just there is no England right there at that point, right? It's just a smorgasbord of tribal guys running around, supposedly, I guess, in conquistador helmets, slaying each other, and eventually then later trying to, the rest of the story. Now, what's very interesting, and what will be a little segment for today on this episode, will be how it really all connects, and that's the essence here at Manfred Crane. Don't think it's all preaching about any religion, but just how it's really all one good, juicy, flowing shish kebab of the human experience. And I use that to segue into Ostara, or Estra, which is a Germanic divinity who, by the way of the Germanic month bearing her name, is the namesake of the festival of Easter. Ostara is attested solely by Bede, the good, old, venerable Bede, in his 8th century work, The Reckoning of Time, where Bede states that during Esturnap, the equivalent of, what was, April, springtime season, Roman pagan festival, the time when, for the first time in months, you've been able to crawl out of your mud hut, your horribly dark, dirty shanty. I don't even care if you're in a castle. It's dark and cold. You're freezing. Finally, the Lord, the gods, the divinities that you pray to, have somehow opened this giant, warm, shining orb in the sky on a daily basis. And so, without further ado, you, of course, grab the finest and most unsaturated glass of fermentation you can get and start having a party. And so that's where it all began. And long before Paulinus, long before Ragnar, they were partying in the springtime at Roman orgies. And the Anglo-Saxons continued to hold these feasts in Esoster's honor, and that tradition died out, though, eventually, when people like Paulinus came through and said, get that shit out of the way and make way for Christ. All good things, though. And so with that, I will conclude this episode of Manfred Crane. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out the Manfred Crane Instagram, which is the best place to look at pictures while enjoying a pipe at a symposium. Thanks, and join us next time. Take care.